So today we're going to be talking about basic defense because I think people are really bad at defending, and I don't really understand why, but let's talk about it. So when you talk about defense, blocking is always the safest option, always. But I do want to quickly go over the other defensive options. I won't be going in depth in this video about them and their uses because it's super situational, and this is about basic defense. But reflect should only be used if you know exactly what is coming. I want to say it's good if you're blocking Vegeta assist, but I haven't played enough on the new patch to say that, so I'm not positive. I don't want to spread any false info. By the way, I actually hear this a lot, and I don't know where it came from. But Reflect is not godlike against Cell. Stop telling people it is. What is it, 6H? Yeah, that's the low move. Yeah, that blows up Reflect Mash. 5LL goes hella far and just completely negates whatever you just reflected. 2M goes hella far and negates whatever you just reflected. Cell is one of the most reflect-proof characters in the entire game. But anyway, back to Reflect. Reflect should not be a guess, ever. And trust me, when you play someone who is thinking, they can tell when you're guessing. It's not hard to figure out. And also, if you're even slightly unsure if they're guessing, you can test them and find out immediately. Reflect's best use is in neutral, when someone does a beam and tries to vanish for pressure. You can punish it with every single character. Piccolo, though, it has to do special beam cannon, which is, it's so whack. But Piccolo just sucks, man. If you're playing Piccolo, switch characters anyway. But you know what? A punish is a punish, so whatever. Guard cancel, it has its uses. It was mainly used to deal with pre-patch Gohan EX legs. It's not as bad as people say, but it's definitely not good and not something that you should just panic and do. Although, it should be noted, when you have one character alive, guard cancel is 100 times better. It's way better when your assist are dead. That's probably when you'll use it the most. Banish is very scary against people who are hella good, because if you get 2H'd, you might get touch of death. You're going to at least lose like 50% into a setup. And if you get hit from there, your character's dead. Not to mention, a lot of people's pressure covers Vanish. It used to be hella easy to do with Vegeta assist. And I do it with Beerus. I have a lot of pressure where I put like an orb behind me just in case someone vanishes. Vanish is high risk and very little reward. You're better off just defending like a man than panic vanishing. Okay, now that we know all of our defensive options, let's kind of dive into this video. I've actually kind of touched on this briefly in a video I took from my stream where someone asked how do you deal with endless pressure. I basically just told them learn to control your characters so that way you're never in it. Which, that's true to an extent, but at the end of the day, we're all going to have to block at some point. You can't avoid all pressure. We're human. We make mistakes. We get downloaded. We're going to have to block. So this video is about those moments where you have to block. There's a ton of ways to pressure people in this game. I'm not going to go too deep into each of them because pressure is super fucking easy to do. And the part that people struggle with is getting out of it. So I'm going to explain a few common things done in pressure, a few ways people do it, and I'm going to explain how to beat it. So a lot of people do this shit with Cell. For when you says like, oh, this block string is good. Yes, I know this block string can be better. I don't care. I know all you Cell players have crazy block strings. I don't care. I'm making this video so it's nice and simple and easy to understand. So this seems like endless pressure, but it's not. There's a ton of gaps in this. This is a very common way that people pressure, and eventually people get frustrated or they try to guess their way out and they hit a button and you die. Then you get mad, fuck Cell, this character's cheap, blah blah blah. And although Cell is cheap, in this situation you didn't lose to anything cheap about Cell. This block string I can do with every single character. It might look a little different depending on your character, but I can basically do the same thing with every single character. You lost because you're bad and because your defense is bad. And there's nothing wrong with being bad. Everyone's bad at some point. That's why we're here. We're all here to improve. Now let's talk about real pressure. Not many people do this, although they should. This pressure has an end, and it usually ends you negative on block. It looks something like this. That's a true block string. You cannot escape, but the assists don't come back. Cell also ends that string negative on block, but that does not mean it's okay to mash after, but we'll get more into that in a little bit. Now let's talk about stagger pressure. This will work on Goichi. This will work on Sonic Fox. This will work on Chris G. Shit, this will work on me. But this will not work on your average online player. This will not work on Bobby down the block. This way of pressure gets blown the fuck up by people mashing. This form of pressure should only be used if you know they're going to sit there and block. The final pressure is vanish pressure, which is just using vanish to extend pressure. It's pretty self-explanatory. We've all seen it before. Everyone hates it. It's just basically an extension to any kind of pressure. First, let's address the pressure with a ton of gaps, because this is the online in a nutshell. Online players want their infinite pressure since no one knows how to properly defend. They get away with it, and they think they're great. In the little online that I do play, I've ran into pink squares, higher ranks that only do this, and once you get out multiple times, they are lost on what to do. So there are some obvious gaps like the new Vegeta assist. Current Vegeta assist, you can wait until you block it and reflect, and boom, pressure's gone. Same with Piccolo Hell Zone Grenade. Well, Piccolo Hell Zone Grenade, if you're blocking, it's too late. But you can delay to wake up and then reflect, and it blows it out. It's done. Piccolo Hell Zone is decent on incoming because you're airborne, so if he snaps you in, then I guess it works, but whatever, fuck Piccolo. Who cares about Piccolo? But what do you do with the not so obvious gaps? You can't lab strings because I can toss in the gap anywhere. So how the hell are you supposed to beat this? You pay very close attention. That's how. When you're in a block string, glance up and pay attention to the assist. When you see an assist start to recover, that's the gap. But do not try to get out when you see it. Just take note of it. Just continue to block. You now know where the gap is. Just relax and wait for the gap to make its way around again. And as soon as it does, mash on that motherfucker. Every person has habits. Not only that, a lot of people who do this online are scrubs, which means they practice these infinite block strings, I guess you could call them. Which means the gap is most likely always in the same place. They know exactly where to put it, where their assist will be back before their block string is done. Where this pressure gets really scary is when someone changes where the gaps are, or does different block strings every single time, or does different block strings every time they make you block. Like I said though, most people don't do this, and you start running into people who do change the block strings every time you block, and change up between gapless pressure, stagger pressure, and all that, you're starting to find better players. Once you start finding better players that do that, it becomes very hard to defend in this game, but very, very possible. I'll talk about that in a different video. This is about basic defense. Do not mash, do not try to guess. The odds are not in your favor. Just block. You're safe, you're fine. Anything that could possibly hit you blocking is reactable. Yes, I know online you are not breaking throws on reaction. Yes, I know sometimes instant air dashes can be hard to react to online. But I'm talking in a general perspective. Even if you do get thrown, who cares? That's a fraction of the damage that you would take if you guessed wrong and get hit by a heavy or something. You might actually die if you get hit by a raw heavy. Next is real pressure, or gapless pressure, whatever the hell you want to call it. This is what I do the most just because of my playstyle. I like to play very guaranteed. This is where guard cancel actually comes in very handy, because you can guard cancel real gapless strings. Just wait until you see them hit a button and guard cancel, and you'll go right through it. But let's talk about when you're actually blocking the pressure. When you are blocking this pressure, you cannot mash, you cannot jump, you cannot backdash, you cannot do anything. You are sitting there waiting for it to be over. That is it. That is your only option. You try to jump, you're going to get hit, as you can see. I even turned on input so you can see it. If you try to backdash, you are going to get hit. You cannot escape. If you try to mash, you are going to get counter hit. Just block. You're fine. Earlier I said they're most likely going to end negative on block. Just because they are negative does not mean it's your turn. You cannot mash. Well, you can mash sometimes, but it is safer to not mash. I don't care if they're -2. Escape the pressure. Do not mash. Escape. Let me explain why. Distance plays a huge factor for one. Let's look at this Cell example. Look, he's whiff punishing me for trying to mash. He's minus after that, but I'm the one getting hit. Another reason you shouldn't mash is because if they decide to backdash after their string, you're not going to hit them. which means you're going to whiff at least 2 lights because you need to commit because you can't hit confirm 1 button. So you're going to do at least 2, and you're probably going to get whiff punished for it. They could also, you know, instant air dash once they're in back dash range at you. No matter what, you're not in a good position if you mash. Just escape. Get out. The G to 5S is -4, but you're getting hit for trying to take your advantage. Don't do it. Don't fall for the trap. Just escape. Instant air dash, jump back, just don't sit there and don't mash back. Now, there is situations where you will be close enough to mash, but you need to know them. If you don't know the situation, don't mash, just get out, reset neutral. Now let us talk about stagger pressure. This will work on me, this will work on Goichi, this will work on Sonic Fox, but like I said earlier, this will not work on your average online player. This will not work on your homie down the block. This wave of pressure gets blown up so bad by people mashing. There's a lot of reasons to stagger pressure, but the main reason is it makes people want to hit buttons. You want them to mash, you want them to try to move, you want them to try to do anything except block. But I know I just said it gets blown up by mashing. You want them to mash on reaction. You don't want them just hitting button. It's also really good because it's like the first pressure, where it creates small gaps to get your assist back. What I want to focus on is when people repeatedly stagger it like this. Now, if you're a newer player, you might think this looks really dumb. Why would you ever do this? This isn't scary. Well, you're wrong. It's actually fucking terrifying because you don't know when it's okay to hit a button. You don't know when it's okay to move. You're just stuck. So how do you deal with this? Well, you block until you've caught on to a pattern. Do not mash out. Do not mash out the first time they stagger. If they do 2L, 2L, dash, 2L, 2L, dash, 2L, 2L, dash, do not mash. Do not try to escape. The longer they stagger the strings, the closer they are to finishing it. I don't care if they do it 10 times in a row. Just block. Because you're going to try to mash on the 11th time, and they're going to finish the string, and now you feel hella dumb. Look at this clip of Goichi. He's just sitting there. Just sitting there, just sitting there, just sitting there. Because he doesn't know. He doesn't know when it's okay to jump. He doesn't know when it's okay to hit a button. So he's just hanging out. Nothing can touch him. He doesn't care. This is one of the things that makes Goichi so good, is that he's okay with blocking. If you've seen them do a stagger multiple times in a row, let's say every single time they get you into a situation where you have to block, they do 2L, 2L, dash, 2L, 2L, and then their block string. You need to be able to get into the mindset of, okay, next time this motherfucker puts me in a situation where I gotta block, he's gonna do 2L, 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 and I'm either going to mash or I'm going to escape. It really depends on the situation what you do. So what's the safest option? The safest option is always to mash a fast assist. Not a light, not a medium, not a DP. You mash your assist. As long as it's fast, such as a Beerus assist, or an invincible assist, such as Gohan. This way you can't get opened up, you're still blocking, and if they stagger, your assist hits them. Even if your assist doesn't hit them, maybe, I don't know, it's a really tight stagger, the assist takes the hit for you. You don't take the hit, you're just sitting there blocking. You are still fine. People also tend to stagger with instant air dash. This also beats that. If they do 2L, 2L or whatever into instant air dash, you will still beat it. What makes this so good is you don't necessarily have to know where the gap even is. If you're early in a match and you're not quite sure their patterns, but you're in a real sticky situation, you can mash it on block, and the assist will only come out if there's a gap. Yeah, your assist might get hit because the gap might be small, but at least then you kind of have an idea where the gap is. As you can see, I am mashing and it is not coming out because it is a true block string. But as soon as there is a gap, the assist will come out. That is by far the safest thing to do, but not everyone has assist for that. So what do you do if you don't have an assist good enough for that? Jumping and back dashing are equally risky mid-screen. It really depends on the situation, but as long as you know the stagger is coming, it's extremely safe. Like, they have to go out of their way to chase you down. But in the corner, always do super jump. Doesn't matter if it's neutral super jump or super jumping back, but always super jump. If you don't know, hitting down then up makes you jump higher. You should know that, but whatever, just in case you don't. That's what you should be doing. Mashing is the worst option, and I'm going to explain why. If you mash and they decide to instant air dash for their stagger, you're going to get hit 100% of the time. That is why you don't mash. I know some guy's going to be like, just mash 2H, anti-air them, because there's always that guy. Yeah, that doesn't work, buddy, because if they do dash forward, 2L, you're getting hit. If they do nothing, you're going to get punished. Defense is the art of not getting hit, not guessing randomly and hoping that you don't get hit. Anyway, instant air dash is also the reason you don't do regular jump. If you try to do regular jump, you have to block their air attack, and you're right back in the pressure. You don't get out. If you try to instant air dash out, you get hit, but if you super jump, you avoid their instant air dash, and you can get out safely. You also avoid dash up 2L. You avoid all stagger options. They could do 2L, 2L wait and see what you do, but then we're getting into, mind games. When you play someone a lot or you're playing at a high level, that's a whole different game. That's a whole different video. We're talking about basic pressure and how to escape it. As long as you know the stagger is going to come because you've collected data from their past habits, then super jump. There's a very, very important thing to remember about defense and especially stagger pressure. It is something that I stressed in my defensive neutral tutorial. If you haven't seen that, I will leave a link in the description. But do not hesitate. Defense in general, you cannot hesitate. You need to believe in yourself. If you don't know what to do nothing. Just block. You're safe. Once you have a read, believe in it. Trust yourself. Hesitating, for one, feels like shit. When you're right, if you make the right read and you hesitate and then get counter hit and die, you feel horrible. Another reason is, if you're wrong, you can learn from it. Why did I make that decision? That was a poor decision on my part. Next time, when I'm in that situation, I gotta remember that. Being wrong is a learning experience. I've had plenty of games where I'll spend 20 to 30 seconds sitting there blocking and just taking in information because I'm not sure what they're going to do. Just be patient. Everything's fine. You can react to all the overheads in this game. You can react to all the throws. Yes, I know online, 3 frames a leg, whatever, say goodbye to reacting to throws and all that stuff. But even then, people have habits of throwing. People have habits of when they want to instant air dash. You can figure it out. Trust me, you definitely can. This game, though, online is, it's way different than offline. What I'm telling you is pretty much limited to good connection or offline, because online is, I understand it's what a lot of people have, and it's their only option, but defense is always way harder than it should be online. Alright, so you did all that blocking. You blocked all the staggers. You couldn't find a gap in the pressure. You think it's finally about to end. This guy extended his pressure with Vanish like a scumbag. I'm just kidding. You're not a scumbag. Vanish to extend pressure is actually really good. But he extended his pressure with Vanish. So what do? You can't hit a button. Look, you're getting counter hit. You can't hit a button. It's plus. So what do? Well, you can backdash. Backdash is usually a really good option. It does work in the corner. It does work mid-screen. It works everywhere. They can chase it down. It's not 100% foolproof, get out of jail free card, but it is an option. Another thing that you can do that is really good that I don't see anyone doing is hold up. You're going to get hit. Do not hold up back. Hold up. You're going to purposely get hit, and then you're going to tech out of the corner. And unless they're ready for you to get hit airborne, they won't be able to convert off it. I used to do this to a friend of mine a bunch, and he used to get really frustrated wondering why that always happened, how I always got out of the corner. And once I explained it to him, he started blowing me up for it and, doing full combos because he was looking for it. But it can get you out of a sticky situation if the person isn't ready for it. That's actually a very important aspect of defense. It's more popular in other games, though, like Street Fighter, which is sometimes just take the hit. Just take the hit. risk to reward in Street Fighter sometimes, you just eat the throw. You don't even try to break the throw, because if you get shimmied, you lose a ton of life. In this game, it exists to an extent. Online, I will just eat the throw until you throw me, 20 times in a row. Then I'm like, all right, well, now I got to start teching, because otherwise I'm literally just going to die. I'm going to lose all 3 of my characters to only throws. But sometimes risk to reward says just eat the hit. Just eat the hit. This is also actually a really good strategy against Hit himself. Against Hit, just fucking eat the overhead. Who cares? He doesn't get a combo. Just eat it, eat it, eat it until he actually kills you with overhead only. This isn't an anti-hit video, though. I could do one of those, but let's get back to the main point of this, basic defense. Okay, this last piece of advice, I didn't know where to fit it in, but it's an extremely basic concept that for some reason I don't see anyone doing except for Goichi. I actually stole this from Goichi months ago at Final Round when I seen him do it. I was like, wow, that is so smart. Why did I never think of it? So I'm just going to loop the clip. Pay attention to what he does. He used the ability to jump cancel normals with sparking to get out of the corner and continuous pressure. This video is months old. It's from Final Round. I don't see anyone doing this. And situations for it arise all the time. Look, I'll show you a common one. How many of you blocked a super dash in the corner? And if any of you say you haven't, you're lying. But look at this. You can get out of the corner for free. And yet no one is doing this. You can do it outside of sparking, but you kind of need respect for that first. It's just like staggers. If you have someone mashing, it won't work. It's best in sparking because you can jump cancel all the normals. And yes, I know the example that I'm showing, they could jump after the super dash and make me whiff. This is an example, dude. Don't take it so serious. There's options to beat everything. To wrap it up, I want to give some final thoughts and give you the important things to take away from this. The number one most important thing to take away from this, block. You're fine. Just block. Don't panic. Just relax. You're safe holding down back. If you see an overhead, ooh, let me stand up and block that. Back to down back. Obviously, there's crazy mix-ups. You can do double overhead stuff, but this is about basic defense, and basic defense will get you a very long way. The second thing I would say to take away from this is don't hesitate. Believe in your defense. Have faith in yourself. Your defense is not as bad as you think, trust me. If you're wrong, who cares? You were wrong. Now you know for next time. I said it before, nothing is worse than making the correct choice and hesitating, then getting hit for it. And the last thing, do not do anything without a reason. Don't worry about learning the whole game at once. Don't worry about learning all of the defense at once. It's okay to take it one step at a time. You should learn to master seeing all of your opponent's actions before trying to figure out what they want to do and before trying to predict the next one. Like, actually master it, please. Please. So many people are bad at defense and it's painful to watch. Please master it. If you do not know what to do, just block. Do not panic and mash. Do not get frustrated and start trying to jump out. Just be patient and wait until your opponent has given you enough information to make a decision. I cannot stress how important that is. This is basic Dragon Ball FighterZ defense. I hope this helps out as many people as my basic defensive neutral video did. You can subscribe if you want. I'm sure I'll do more videos like this. Share it with people that you think it could help. Follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/SupremeBam, which is on the screen and in the description. I will see you guys later.